Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm Chief Sweet and today we're going to be talking about bearded dragons and hydration. You may have asked yourself, why is my bearded dragon not drinking water? When will he drink water? Why doesn't he like water? And that's everything we're going to be talking about in this video. Let's get into it, shall we? So if you're new to bearded dragons or you've been around bearded dragons a long time, you're going to notice they don't really drink water. And if you do have a bearded dragon that drinks water, good for you. But almost every single bearded dragon I've ever kept has never drunk water unless they were sick or super dehydrated. Now, just because your bearded dragon drinks water doesn't mean they're sick or dehydrated. Just in my case, when I've taken bearded dragons in and they were, that's the only time I've ever seen them drink water. There's a big reason for this, not only because they are from the deserts of Australia where water is very scarce, but they mainly get all of their water through the stuff they eat. So they're usually hydrated, but we'll talk about how to tell if your bearded dragon is not hydrated. Since bearded dragons get most of the moisture and hydration from everything they eat, like the greens and the insects, which is very important to understand because a lot of people give their bearded dragons dry foods, like dried insects, dried little pellets. And when you do that, it's gonna dehydrate your dragon because they're gonna have to use the water inside of their body to soak that up or just get it moist so they can digest it easier. So that's why you always want live insects and good greens. Now for baby bearded dragons, you want to offer greens daily. A little salad, probably the size of their stomach or half the size of their body, not including their head, just their body, not the tail or anything like that, just the body, about half the size of that, because that's pretty much the size of their stomach. Offer the greens, and you can mist the greens, put a lot of water on there, so when they come over and eat it, they're just getting more water as well. This will ensure that you will have a very hydrated bearded dragon, and not only that, you need to gut load your insects. What does that mean? What a gut loaded insect means pretty much, it's kind of, morbid when you think about it, but giving an insect its last meal, if you would. Pretty much what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your insects and you're gonna give them carrots, romaine lettuce, a lot of hydrating foods that's good for the cricket, but also good for your dragon, because whatever the dragon eats, whatever that ate, like the insect, your dragon's gonna have that in its body as well. Carrots and romaine lettuce are very hydrating, and it'll get your insects very nice and like fat, full of water, and it'll hydrate your dragon even more. So that's what gut loading means. Literally just feed before you feed off, it's its last meal, the insect's last meal. You're gonna make sure it's hydrated up and it will hydrate your dragon. So because dragons in the wild do this, if they get most of their hydration, now I will talk about more about running water as well, but because most bearded dragons get hydration through the stuff they eat, they've become adapted to it. That's normal for them. They don't really drink water. They see water in the bowl and they're just not, they don't do it. And that's very normal. A lot of people don't even put water bowls in their enclosures. You can, and I do recommend it because at least it's there. If your bearded dragon's thirsty, he can run over there and drink the water. I have water bowls in my enclosure and still, I've never seen them drink it, but I just like to, it's a peace of mind, if you will. Now, a lot of people don't. That's up to you on that part, but I do recommend it. Now, on to running water. You might notice if you ever have like dripped water in your enclosure or even have like poured water in, the dragon does notice it. Well, that's because in the wild, they do experience rain. It does rain in the desert from time to time, and during that time, bearded dragons do come out and drink the water. The water droplets come down the trees. If it rolls down their face, they'll lick it up. And this is also a great way to hydrate your bearded dragon if you're wondering he is too dehydrated. A simple way I like to do it is I just like to get a little dropper. You can use, sometimes it takes some technique, I will say, but I like to get my mister and I'll like just barely press it to where the water just starts dripping out, and I'll drip it on his nose, and when he starts to notice it, he will drink that way. All my bearded dragons do this. You can do it that way, but like I said, even if he will not drink that way, he will not drink out of a water bowl, the best way to make sure he is drinking is to mist the greens and feed him greens daily. However, adult bearded dragons, unless he is dehydrated, you don't have to feed them greens every single day. You can feed the greens like 3 to 4 times a week, or you can even feed them 2 times a week. It's really depending, because if you feed, adults are very fat and they do get very fat in captivity, but you don't have to feed adults so much because they're already grown. Baby bearded dragons need food every day because they are growing. And you don't need a lot of food, you just need a little bit. These lizards are very hardy, but I will say the biggest problem in captivity is dehydration among all reptiles. Now you may be wondering, how can I tell if my bearded dragon is dehydrated? Now if you've kept the bearded dragons for a long time, you do kind of just like learn and get accustomed to what a healthy bearded dragon looks like, but it is very confusing, and especially everything on the internet, like people are always asking, how does the poop look? Sometimes poop can look weird. Sometimes poop is just a little off and the next poop is better. So poop is always very confusing, and I'm not gonna tell you anything about about the poop, okay? Even the skin, sometimes lizards just have wrinkly skin. You know, they might have pooped, and their skin just gets a little wrinkly. That does not mean they're dehydrated. So there's tons of things that people see, and they get very confused, and they just don't know. So don't really worry about the poop unless there's blood in it. Blood can be a sign of dehydration and or parasites. So that is very important. So if you do have blood in the stool, that's a sign of dehydration or parasites. So that is something to look out for. Like I said, a lot of times people are like, oh, the skin's looking really wrinkly, and if you grab it and pull it away, it'll take a long time to go back. Your bearded dragon's not gonna like that at all. Now that is a way, just like humans, we do the same thing, but if you pull the skin and it's just kind of like staying there like clay, just like molded it, he most likely is dehydrated. But so a lot of times, if you do that to your bearded dragon, he's gonna be like, what are you doing? Don't touch me, please. So it is very confusing, and poop-wise, it's very confusing as well, because a lot of times they could just had a weird food one day or just didn't agree with them, just like humans. Poop changes quite a bit. So it's very confusing for new keepers, and that's why I'm making this video, because new keepers are always scared of the poop. And really the time you should be very scared of the poop is, or any type of, you know, noticing, if you notice the poop has blood in it, that's when you should worry. Other than that, just make sure to offer greens. Make sure if you want to mist the greens and live insects that have been gut loaded, your dragon will be fine. And to ensure this, you can also drip the water on the nose, and they will drink that if they're thirsty or they want more water. People freak out because of the green, like bearded dragons don't eat greens. And they're like, why won't he eat his greens? A lot of times baby bearded dragons just want insects. And that's why it's very important to gut load the insects. Make sure the insects are very well hydrated themselves, because they will pass that hydration on to the bearded dragon. These lizards are hardy. They come from harsh desert environments, and they're very used to conserving water, and they're just not used to seeing water that much. That's why when they see a water bowl, they're just kind of like, okay, whatever. But like I said, it is really hard to get your bearded dragon to drink water out of a water bowl compared to just dripping it down or having it run down. Some people get waterfalls as well. And when they see the waterfall, just because it's the dripping water down, they will go over there and drink that as well. And a lot of people say bathing, but you don't have to bathe them to get them to drink water. I do it for like only time I bathe the lizards is when they're like really sick, or if a female has laid eggs. And that's just to be like, hey, drink the water. Because a lot of times when you put the lizard in the bath, he's not going to drink the water at all. They're just more of an enticing, like, please drink the water. They will not drink the water. And a lot of times it makes them poop. If your bearded dragon is hydrated and you're giving him greens and you're giving him insects, he will poop naturally. You don't have to worry about any of that. Putting him in a bath is, honestly, they don't need it. I don't know what happened recently, but everybody's like saying they need to give their bearded dragons baths. You do not need to give your bearded dragon a bath at all. They're desert lizards. They're very used to it. Now, they don't need as low as humidity as everybody thinks. People keep bearded dragons in Florida outside, and they are perfectly fine. So, again, don't worry about humidity as well. A lot of people are like, can I put a water bowl in the tank and it's going to raise the humidity? No, don't worry about that at all. As long as the tank is not wet, you're totally fine. Another great way to tell if your bearded dragon is dehydrated is the saliva. When he opens his mouth and he's about to eat something, if you see his spit, I don't know if anybody's ever been like super thirsty and your spit just feels like it's just almost solidifying. It's like if you try to spit it out, it would just be like very like gummy, or I guess I don't know how to describe it, but it's not very watery. It's very sticky. It's like sticking to your mouth. And if you've been that way, you kind of know what I'm talking about. And if your bearded dragon looks that way in his mouth, like his mouth looks dry, not very, his saliva is very like sticking to his mouth and stuff, then he most likely needs a little bit of water. You can give him that water through the greens, through the drops on the nose, or insects. And that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I helped. And if I did, like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.